What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's games. We were playing a couple hockey, and there's only like five NBA, six, so we're going to play the NBA slate as well. And as always, I always like to do the recap of the same video. I feel like it's kind of redundant if I just do a recap video. But anyway, this is our recap. But last night was an interesting one. This is why I always point out just the reason I go like my system and just a system in general. Whether you see we went 4-7 2 days ago and we actually finished in the profit, like I went over. And then yesterday we lost two leg threes, which usually spells disaster. Just imagine if you bet four times your normal unit, right, on two random games, and then those ones just happen to be the ones you lose. It's usually a pretty bad day. But all of our leg twos came through, and we went 6-2 in the NBA, 60% overall. So we were able to actually completely break even with two leg three losses. So we didn't get the Oilers under; they went way over. And the Pacers, I guess that was maybe enough people were finally like, we're just gonna fade the Mavs because of that. Sorry, I'm not sure. Or again, they need to keep a schedule a certain way, but a complete break even day, which I'll take with two leg three losses. Obviously we want to profit every day, but we want to mitigate losses as well. So today I have two upsets that I'm playing. The first one is the Wizards. I think this is the line you would normally see with a healthy Kuzma and Beal. You don't normally see this line with them not playing. So I looked into it and I checked other sources. And again, these guys lie so much. I would not be surprised if one of these three players suited up, but from what I can tell, they're not playing. Usually when it says out and not doubtful, that even ESPN is usually pretty accurate. So I do like the Wizards to win. I don't see people taking the Celtics or taking the Wizards here when the Celtics don't have the injuries that the Wizards do. The Wizards' top players are injured. So I like them for that reason. This should be like a 17-point line, I feel like. They're 20 games better almost, and on top of that, like I said, they're healthier. So this makes no sense to me. So I'm going to take the Wizards to win. It pays 4-1, 400 plus 400, 4-1. And I think it's definitely worth it because it also keeps them on the Raptors' heels and the Bulls' heels. And again, I don't think they're just going to knock every team out. So I could be wrong. And then the next game, I like the Hawks. Again, 10 games, better, supposedly 11. And they're saying that these teams are even. So again, I think they're kind of prepping us for the playoffs, letting us know the Hawks can beat the Cavaliers. And we might see this matchup in the playoffs. Like I said, I don't think the Hawks limp into the playoffs. I think they finish better than the Bulls, better than the Raptors and these other teams. Now, that being said, we got the Heat Raptors here. And it's an interesting one. I actually do like the Raptors for the simple reason I just don't think that I took the cover. I didn't take the points. I'm not going to take the money line. When we're going to be getting minus 160. I just think this is a weird line. They both have some injuries. Jimmy isn't playing, which is always a big deal. But again, the Raptors have been banged up. Siakam's really been the only guy that's been consistently going for them. And I just don't think people, even with a healthy, say Van Fleet, OG, Siakam, I just don't see people slamming them when the Heat still have guys that can go. And the Raptors have not looked great. So normally I'd go against the Raptors because I'd be thinking, well, that they'll pull too far ahead of other teams and the playoffs will basically be secured. But we only have 6-7 games left anyway. So I think they're wrapping up the playoffs, and this would be a perfect one. If they're going to put the Raptors in anyway, I think it makes sense that they make them look strong. Also, it would put the entire Atlantic Division in. You guys can check. I think that might be the first time in history if they get in that an entire division made it into the playoffs. And I actually predicted it was going to happen in football. I thought it was going to be the NFC East or the AFC East because they just added a playoff seed, and they made it kind of obvious. And then they were talking about it. So we didn't get it in football, but this might be the first time ever in basketball. And then we got Magic Grizzlies here, and I like the Magic. I took them on a money line win too. So my two straight wins are the Magic, which is paying almost, 2.5 to 1. And The other one I like is the Wizards, which is paying 4-1. And I just think, again, it'll keep the Magic in contention. And 7 points is kind of light, even if Ja's not playing. The Magic have not shown themselves to be a great team this year. The Grizzlies have been good with or without Ja. Hornets, Thunder, I think the Thunder cover. Again, I think they want to establish them. I know people think I'm nuts. I had the Blazers getting in. Obviously, they're not. But on the other side, I had the Lakers not getting in. And now I'm even wondering if the Mavericks don't get in. So I know a lot of people are saying, again, Lakers, how can you have not getting in? Let's remember, my channel is not picking the best team. It's picking the teams that I think are going to get picked, and I'm fading them. So as far as the Lakers, I think it'd be way more fitting if, again, the Thunder booted them out in the play-in. The Thunder had everyone leave them. They were on their team and go to super teams when they kind of had a organic super team. I think it'd be pretty fitting if the Thunder booted out the Lakers. And maybe Lakers, Mavs battle it out in the play-in. I just don't think the Lakers are getting in the playoffs, and I'm even wondering on the Mavs. But I think they make the Thunder look really strong in this game. Then we got Pels, Warriors. Pels just looked really good. Warriors, they're going to be good at home. But I'm going to take the Warriors for the cover because the Pels just won by like 20 or 30. Mind you, it was against a depleted Portland team, but they've been on a little bit, won a couple games. I think that's enough points to get people, A, taking on the 8.5, and B, maybe trying to get something on the money line. So as you can see, it's not a ton of games, but we are playing 2 upsets. And since most of these spreads are, we got 4 spreads that are paying out at least 2-1 or better. One, I think there's a good chance at least one of them hits. So let's hope we got the right one. I went Wizards, which is the biggest upset of the night. But again, it's more for the points perspective. I just don't see people on the Wizards with Kuzma and Beal out. And then on the other end, I like the Magic here. I think 7's a little light, like I said. The Heat Raptors is a tough one, but I wound up going Raptors. The rest is hockey, and again, it's just a matter of, as I said, you can kind of tell by my enthusiasm and like when I'm going over the picks, which ones I like the most. So like I said, Raptors, I don't love it. That's why it's a leg 1. Wizards, I like, but it's 4-1. There's no need to make it a leg 2, leg 3. Hawks winning, I do like as a leg 2. Because, again, it fits a couple boxes. It ticks the box of Hawks are going to be a playoff team. They have to establish them and Trey specifically, and Hunter and just the group they have as a good, formidable force. And the line to be dead even just doesn't make sense to me. Magic beat Grizzlies, I made a leg 2 just because, again, the line's light, and I think they're going to just keep it a little interesting. And again, I could be wrong. I think they're going to keep it a little interesting in the East. So, to me, it would make sense that the Magic win, or like I said, the Wizards. That's why I have them both, because I feel like between them both, one of them will probably win. And that, just because I don't think they want to seal the playoffs 5-6 games out. I know, like I said, it's not a lot of games out, but you don't want to lock it in when you could keep it interesting. I do believe the Wizards play the Bulls again, too. Warriors, Pels here. You can see I made that a leg 2. Again, I think there'll be enough people on the Pelicans. And I think they want to establish the Warriors are really good at home. Because then when they lose at home in a game 6, probably to the Suns, I think it'll be that much more like devastating and that much more of an impact when they do. And I think they will, to be honest. That's kind of a theory I have. They've been bragging about their rings all year. I really think that's so they can just lose to like Durant or lose to another team and probably lose at home in a game 6 where Clay isn't very clutch. Everyone's got to pay a penance, and I think this might be the Splash Bros year. So anyway, then I got some hockey. You can see I played 4 hockey plays because I like them. I like the Canadians to beat the Flyers. Again, I don't think a ton of people are going to be on the Canadians here. Flyers getting pretty good money line value, and they are a better team. And I think also they've covered more spreads than anybody this year. It just makes the public more likely to hit them. Jets Sharks over. Jets have got me a couple times because a couple times I thought they'd go over. They set it like 6.5, and they just haven't gone over much. So I'm like, all right, they're going to go over, and then they score like 3-4 goals. But again, I like playing the overall long-term odds, so I'm not going to avoid it just because it didn't hit. I do like the Jets Sharks a lot to go over as a leg 3. That's my only leg 3. And then you can see I got the Flames covering the Kings, plays plus 160, so that would be nice. Again, Flames terrible on the spread. And then the last one is the Oilers Knights to go under. Again, Oilers really good on the over. I just think it stands to reason people are going to be a little more likely to slam the over. So as you can see, we have a lot of leg 2 plays because, like I said, yesterday we did exceptional on leg 2. We went 4-0, so we didn't open up any more leg 3s, and the leg 3 is what we lost, and they get closed out. Obviously, you see I closed out -7. We don't chase this Oilers and do 8 units on it again. It just that doesn't, or 8 units. It just doesn't pay out long term. So there's no need to chase losses. But this is what I got for tonight. So the biggest one tonight is going to be the Jets Sharks over. Of course, they're all important. As you saw yesterday, the most important was the Pacers, of course, and the Oilers. They were both important. Pacers would have paid better. But had we not hit all of our leg 2s, we wouldn't have broke even. We would have been down a lot. So leg 2s are important too. That's the reason I kind of go in order. I like to play the schedule because it just gives us better chance of splitting, which is all we really need to do with the system. So when there's not a lot of games, I like to play them all and then try and get it to like 8 to 10 is a good number. And, we want to close them out, but if leg 1, you see I got like a lot of our plus odds on leg 1. I'm not often going to run them on leg 2, leg 3. I will sometimes, but I really try and save that lock of the night that people always ask me about for leg 3. That being said, for tonight, I know a lot of people like basketball locks specifically. If I had to pick a quote lock of the night, I would just say Wizards to cover. I'm taking the money line, but for people that are like, I really want, I think that's just too light. And I really like the Hawks cover too. I think either one of them is a fine play. The rest, I think they'll win the teams I have, but are they going to cover? The Magic's nice, but I do like the Wizards more. They have one more win than the Magic, which at this point of the season means a lot more. It really means they have a more realistic shot here as long as they win. So between that and the light spread, if I had a quote lock of the night outside of hockey and the other, I'd go Wizards cover and then Hawks cover or whatever money lines, whatever value you're getting. There's no reason to take a point or give a point. So you can see the Hawks are actually slight favorites here, which is just, in my opinion, interesting. And you can say, we got injuries. Sure, but again, as long as Mitchell's playing, in my opinion, the Cavs are, there not much changes. And you can see most of the guys that, there's not, Danny Green, I think he's been out for a bit. And let's be honest, he's been garbage for a bit anyway. So that spread just weird to me. And that's why I actually like that one and the Wizards. I like them both. So, like I said, we got. I'm going into WrestleMania by the way. I'm going to go into all the matches probably later tonight, and then because the first, we got like 3 days until WrestleMania or something, and then also I'm going to go into my MLB futures. What I can say is I do like, and it's funny because the Cardinals swung a lot last year. I was wondering why they were just so garbage. But Cardinals, Guardians are two other teams for each side that I like so far. They fit a couple of my metrics. They fit the color scheme I like. So Guardians, Cardinals. If you want to lock in some early futures, I like those two teams. I'm kind of liking the Braves. There's some other teams I like, but those two are the ones I like a lot. Something about the Guardians, it seemed like they were playing the seas last year about them. I don't think they're a very great team, but they're kind of pinning them as, if you remember when the Rays won the World Series, they had like really good pitching, really good defense, a couple stars. They're really pinning the Guardians that way, and I believe they got Francona, who's just one of those guys that, they're going to give her another championship too, probably. So I believe they have Francona. I don't know that much about baseball. It's more going to be metrics. But yeah, I do like the Guardians. I think they might do something with that. And then on the other side, I think the Cardinals is a nice pick. Both seem to be getting nice odds. So yeah, I'll go more into that though. We're going to be playing all the baseball games, or at least we have to be more selective because there are, you're going to have teams that get swept. So we're going to have to be selective, but we'll play a good bit of series and just ones that essentially I don't think the team's getting swept. That's the funny thing is that's how this system originated. It was a person that was on that's why I call it the rig system, random internet guy. It was a random internet guy on a sports forum. Had like 5 years of backdated analysis, and he also put out picks in live time. And he just specifically did baseball. He literally played like 4 months, however long it is, out of the year, and then he would just wait until the next baseball season. And in live time, he just showed like he would lose just like we do three-leggers, but very infrequently, and he'd close a lot of series. And he would do it on money lines or the spread. And like I said, hockey's been great to us, so I expect baseball to be pretty similar. Again, this is just from hockey. You can see basketball starting to add up because I haven't done. I just started doing really the money lines maybe a week and a half ago, not even. But as far as the hockey, I always have because I'm not going to do minus 200. It does not work with this system. This system is to mitigate the losses, not put out 4 units to win 2. So here I do like you can see the amount of ones plus odds we got from hockey. I think baseball is going to be very similar. So, like I said, I'll go into WrestleMania. I'll be going into baseball, and obviously the Final Four, which I think is the first and the second. So I'll make sure I get that all out. But for WrestleMania, I just keep saying Cody because he's going to be minus 1,000 pretty soon. Right now, he's minus 500. It's going to keep moving, and I'm going to run down every match because there's a lot of them, and some of them they're not the best odds, but I think I might predict every single match right. I know it sounds nuts, and wrestling's more unpredictable than ever. But there are some, when they plant some seeds, it's not on accident. So we'll see how we do. I think we do good tonight, though. That's what's, one day at a time. And as always, take care and happy earnings.